I think we all know by now that most ghost hunting shows are just plain bad. Most of the time they're the fun kind of bad where you can still be entertained and make fun of them, like Ghost Adventures. But then you have the ones that are just all around awful, and today's video is no exception. Have you ever thought when watching one of these ghost shows, man, you know what this show needs? More cops. Like 5 of them to be exact, and they all have to be aggressively Chicago. Well, oddly specific, but you're in luck, because today I want to dive into A&E's Paranormal Cops, the show where we follow Ron and the gang, a group of current Chicago police officers. Not former cops, they're just cops who also do this. But we follow them as they answer the call to investigate paranormal anomalies in the Chicago area. Mainly suburbs. I don't think they've ever done an episode of the show within the city limits of Chicago. These cops definitely are from the city though, because they have got the most insane Chicago accents I've ever heard. Especially Ron, the main guy. Now, as I was watching some of these episodes, I realized that good friend of the channel, friend of the me, Jake Mayer did a video on this show not too long ago, so go check that out when you're done with this. Unless you're scared.
Chicago is a city haunted by its criminals. I became a cop to solve crimes. But one case led me to something supernatural.
You see this accent I'm talking about, it's fucking crazy. Chicago is a city haunted by its criminals. I became a cop to solve crimes. But one of those crimes led me to something supernatural. Also, deep dish pizza is not Chicago pizza.
We are police officers by day and paranormal cops by night. We don't rest until your case is closed.
Now, they call themselves the Chicago Paranormal Detectives, which has the same acronyms as the Chicago Police Department. Conveniently. I'm assuming they were just like, well, you know, it's easy to remember.
Tonight we're going to be heading out to Huntley, Illinois on case number 09B002.
And like I said, they pretty much just investigate suburbs of Chicago while branding themselves the Chicago Paranormal Detectives, which, being someone not too far outside of Chicago myself, that is not an unfamiliar thing to see. I have seen plenty of people putting Chicago in their bios while living over an hour away from the city itself. I get it though, I bet they're just like, people know what Chicago is, but nobody fucking knows where Huntley, Illinois is.
This is a request from a woman, Pat Droshak. She's got some supposed paranormal activity going on, and her daughter, Brittany, lives there with her and a friend, Nicole. Austin has a little information about the friend, Nicole, that does stay there with them on occasion.
Nicole seems to be the center of attention here. She's a house guest as of right now. She's feeling physical aggression. She's actually feeling like something is putting their hands around her neck and choking her in her sleep.
I love that just about every episode, they use the Kitchen Nightmares violin sound.
There is a belief that this energy or whatever is a deceased friend of Pat's daughter.
Here's a picture. Her name was Megan, and she died 3 years ago. We gotta help this girl.
Now already after this briefing, we've got a lot going on. We've got Pat calling in about some possible paranormal activity in her house, specifically with her daughter's friend Nicole, who is currently staying with them. Now buckle in because it's going to get confusing. Both Pat's daughter Brittany and her friend Nicole had a friend named Megan, who had passed away a few years ago. And their current hypothesis is that paranormal activity may be Megan's spirit, mainly because she also would stay in that same bed that Nicole is staying in now. Not sure how Pat's house became a regular hostel for her daughter's friends, but whatever. Now, it's confusing to me why they think it might be Megan's spirit, because one of the occurrences that would happen is Nicole waking up feeling an aggressive energy and a tight feeling on her throat, like someone's choking her. Why then is your immediate assumption, oh, that's probably fucking Megan, that bitch.
All right, let's head on out.
Okay, you can't beat that sick-ass music they play every time they hop in that most likely retired police van that they use to get around in. Another reason I assume they went with this name, because if they get any retired Chicago PD equipment with that acronym on it, they don't have to do much painting.
God, we just ask that you be with us tonight during this investigation. Protect us from any harm.
Now, whenever they arrive to any location, they always start off with this prayer circle. Also, that woman is Mariah the medium. While she is on their team, she seems to really be heavy on the I'll take my own car vibe. And I just want to say, whenever there is a medium, or like in the Paranormal Home Inspectors, Nadine, the intuitive healer, that is when my bullshit meter goes crazy. It might be the only thing more bullshit to me than Zach Bagans and the gang on Ghost Adventures doing anything. But back to the prayer circle, my favorite part is Ron will always have this fat cigar hanging out of his mouth while they pray, and I'm not a religious guy at all, but I feel like if there's any time to take that thing out of your fucking mouth, it's now. So it's time for the crew to go inside and talk a bit with the mom, who also has her own aggressively Chicago accent.
How can we help you here tonight?
We've been having some very strange occurrences for the past 4 months.
Before then meeting with the daughter's friend Nicole, who has been experiencing these occurrences. She also happens to have the final boss of Karen haircuts, holy shit.
Okay.
And Nicole is having the worst, so we'd like to make her comfortable and to be able to sleep in her bed, which she can't do right now.
Can you show us around, give us a little
Sure
tour?
can.
So first I was kind of confused as to why these guys are the ones being called out to do any of this out of anyone. But I think the main thing they have going for them is not the fact that they are cops and they have expertise in law enforcement. I really just think it's people in towns like Huntley, Illinois. They're like, yeah, not a lot of paranormal investigators out here in Huntley, Illinois, except for those cops in the phone book. Because realistically, what are 5 cops gonna bring to the table here? Are they just gonna gun down anything that looks like a ghost in the dark?
First of all, what is your ultimate goal? What can we do for you?
I just want to be able to sleep in my room again. I guess I just want to feel comfortable. Britt's friend was the very last person to stay in that room before she had passed. And what's really weird is she has blonde hair as well, and she's got greenish blue eyes, like the same as mine. And that to me is just a little weird.
Can you tell me that you believe that you might know the identity of these spirits?
I think it's my daughter's friend, Megan.
So normally I don't have a problem with ghost shows. I love to make fun of them, but for the most part, they're just silly and dumb. But whenever any of these shows dive into the possibility of it being a dead friend or relative of the people involved, and then start picking at that, that's when I have a problem with it. Because I was watching one of their other episodes where they investigate a firehouse, and of course their medium, Mariah, communicates with the spirit, and you know what she found? Apparently this ghost was calling out for a man named Dan, who turns out is a deputy sheriff that spends a lot of his time at the station. And the spirit called out to him because that man Dan's dad had recently passed, and this spirit wanted to bring the spirit of Dan's dad to communicate through Mariah to Dan himself. And the way they're able to get away with shit like this is by passing messages along that are just vague enough and make enough sense for the given situation to be believable. Especially to someone who is grieving a recent loss, who may be more willing to accept something like that.
He has a tremendous amount of apologies. He feels like he left a mess. There's paperwork with signatures.
Messages like, "I'm sorry I left you this mess," could apply to most situations where a parent passes and the kid has to handle a lot of business after the fact. So I'm hoping we don't see too much of that this episode, but it is literally anyone's guess.
If we ask you to go back into the bedroom tonight, was that something that you would be willing to do?
I don't know. I'm terrified. I'm not gonna lie about it. I'm like really scared.
And after talking with Pat and Nicole, we're going to check in with the medium and see what she feels.
I'll come this way. I keep feeling pulled to go to the corner over here, so I guess that's where we'll go. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Mariah. Nice to meet you.
Britt, nice to meet you.
I'm the medium.
I'm feeling a pull to the only other room in this basement with someone in it. Someone who has not yet been interviewed also.
Well, I had a kind of an interesting experience last night. It was a spirit that came forward. It was a young girl that kept saying she wanted Britt. I guess she really wants to talk to you. And she's got a lot of messages, so if you want to communicate with her, I'll be happy to help you.
Definitely.
Well, I guess they really are just going to do the same shit that I was just saying, so cool.
She just wants me to tell you it's okay. Okay. One hug.
Thank you.
It's okay.
I guess ultimately it's not the worst thing in the world because people usually come out of these conversations feeling better, but that doesn't mean the medium still isn't just full of shit making things up about this girl's dead best friend.
She's talking about music. Something funny to her about lip syncing or driving with.
I know what you're talking about.
Me and Megan
We used to drive around all the time. And we used to lip sync like a prayer Madonna all the time.
While lip syncing in a car is a bit odd, not the craziest of guesses to assume that some teenage girls liked driving around blasting pop music.
I'm gonna go around with these. All right, to indicate where I'd like the cameras to be. In here, the left side of the bed. Okay. Right there.
Yeah, they really gotta lean into the cop shit, because what is the point of dressing their house up like a crime scene? How does that help in any way?
Yeah, we're watching you. Will you please speak with Nicole and find out if she would be willing to join us up here?
Are you comfortable going upstairs?
Yes.
Okay.
Control to Austin. They are on their way up.
Nicole, how's your comfort level?
I'm good. I feel fine.
Nicole, how comfortable would you be staying here alone for a little while? We'll be closer than you'd think, okay?
Okay, I'm good. Will you be right outside the door?
We will not be very far away from the door, no.
Okay.
Now, the investigation goes on for a few hours, and they don't get any evidence of paranormal activity, so I guess night one is just a bust.
Not feeling anything?
Mm-mm.
So you could go to sleep in here, you think?
No. But I do feel more at peace with it.
Okay.
Nicole says she still doesn't feel comfortable sleeping in the room, but also is at peace with it, which I feel like kind of contradicts it. While night one was a bust, we follow up with a few of the guys at the station a few days later at the end of their shift because, remember, they're still cops. They still got a job outside all of this, and I don't know why that makes it so much funnier to me.
Hell of a day.
Yeah, well, it's over. Let's get off the phone with Scott and Brian.
Yeah?
They reviewed that footage from the other night, and there is no evidence.
Well, what are you thinking?
Megan's mother called Pat Droshak.
And this is where I got very confused, because he says that Pat, the mom we just saw, called him again and said that she thinks there's some paranormal activity, so they think, oh, maybe it's not the room and it follows the person. Then we end up at Megan's parents' house. Remember, Megan is the deceased friend who had previously stayed in the room Nicole has been sleeping in at Pat's house. So now we're at Megan's parents' house, with Brittany, daughter of Pat, and her friend Nicole. I don't know if Nicole also stays here too. I honestly think they just mixed up their lines or didn't get their story straight at the police station we just saw, because they said that Pat thinks she's got paranormal activity at her house too.
She thinks she's got paranormal activity at her house too.
We were just at her house. I think they just didn't have their story straight this episode. But just so we all know where we're at right now. Megan passed away 3 years ago. Those are her parents. This is her house.
If anyone was here with us, we come here with respect and genuine sincerity. Provide you the opportunity to come forward and communicate. Can she confirm for us that she's here?
The temperature's changing. The temperature's changing for sure.
Oh, man. Oh, I took my blood thinners before this. I get cold easy.
I can share what I know.
Please do.
She's not angry.
I want her to know that I'm not trying to take her place.
She's not upset.
Oh, okay, well, at least we know she's not upset, and there was no malice in whatever choking sensation she may have been inflicting on Nicole in the middle of the night. That must just be how she shows love. It's like the aliens in Scary Movie 3.
It's so peaceful, man. Why were they choking us a few minutes ago?
Oh, that's how we say hello.
Hello.
Lots of things from childhood, like My Pretty Pony and so many stuffed animals. And she's insisted she's not angry or upset with you. You just always have to be right.
Again, is this not just vague and easily guessable shit? Like, oh, your daughter, she always loved those stuffed animals you gave her as a kid, and oh, she remembers how Dad always had to be right. Oh my god, she's right. We did give her stuffed animals as a kid. She's good.
She's going upstairs for some reason, she said. She's not answering.
Was she just upstairs?
I don't know. I just felt her presence go.
Alright, you heard her. Let's head up. So they head upstairs to Megan's old room and they find the teddy bear that they were just talking about. Then they activate the music, hoping that maybe it'll get some kind of paranormal reaction out of Megan.
I got the hair standing on the back of my neck right now.
I'm scared.
Okay, hang on a minute. tag on the bear just moved. You see that?
This has to be the most not out of the ordinary thing I have ever seen. I wouldn't be surprised if someone just kind of breathed hard a little bit in the room. I don't think I've ever seen a ghost show where so little happens. And that's saying a lot because nothing usually happens on any ghost show ever. What I'm about to say applies to most ghost hunting shows, but if you just turned on a light and ditched the night vision, it would be so laughably dumb looking. Night vision is doing so much of the heavy lifting here. Alongside the medium, if she weren't here to say that she feels a presence or the urge to go to a certain location of the house, there would be no show. There would be nothing at all.
Were you sitting on this? No.
Are you sure it wasn't a trick of light?
That tag moved.
Also, this show is fighting for its fucking life trying to meet the 22-minute runtime because after what would normally be the commercial break, they basically just not recap what we just saw, they literally play the last minute of footage we saw leading up to that break, again with no edits.
Anything of evidentiary value?
You know, I listened to everything. There was zip. I couldn't find anything on there.
Really?
Yeah. It's disappointing, I know.
So night 2, they have once again come away with nothing except the time that they stole from us watching at home. Although, if you remember that thing we just saw, the tag did move, so I don't know.
In real time, it's really hard to decipher what's really going on. Just going back and forth through it, and what I'm looking at is right up here, this little gap, this black area here gets a little bit smaller, and then come forward because it's like adding extra...
Like pushing the car out of a rut.
Momentum.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's got extra momentum because the heat kicked on, or somebody breathed on it.
So what's your conclusion?
What I'm concluding is that it looks like it's not paranormal.
Credit where credit is due, at least they are not trying to pass this off as a ghost. Bare minimum, at least. So after all of that nothing, we're going to return to the first house and give the final disposition and see what the conclusion is after all of this investigating.
Let's take a look at this form. This is called a final disposition form, and we do this at the end of every case. If you see here, I'd like to just show it to you, and we do not believe that your house is haunted. And we don't think there's anything to fear.
That's good.
And if there is energy here, and Mariah says there's energy here, nothing negative.
I definitely want to get an idea of what you guys are thinking.
I feel like it just kind of gave me a whole new level of comfort with it. And just going through this experience, it was quite amazing.
If I'm being honest, how do they feel better about anything these guys did, whatever they did throughout this episode? Because while I hate to say it, I think the only reason they feel any relief or closure is the medium. I really don't think it was their night vision cameras and Chicago accents that accomplished anything. Realistically, I'd feel better if Zach and the gang came with their dozens of gizmos with made-up functions than I would with these cops just stumbling around my house after their 12-hour shifts. And of course, they have to do some cop shit of some kind with this final disposition form with a bunch of cop jargon basically telling them that their house is in fact not haunted.
If you got comfort, you got to a level of where you're okay, and that did something for you, we had a successful outcome.
Yeah.
Are you sleeping in your bed again?
I am successfully 3 nights in a row.
I'm very happy with the outcome because my main objective was to find peace.
Right.
For my daughter, for myself, and for Nicole, so she can be comfortable here. And I'm sure the Shays are happy with it too.
I guess it's good that everyone, Megan's parents included, seem to feel a lot better after all of this, but holy shit, I've never seen a ghost show where this little of anything happens. I know I shit on Ghost Adventures heavily, but at least that show is fun to watch. The only redeeming quality about this show is listening to them talk in those accents.
Sometimes our role as paranormal investigators is less about confirming that the afterlife exists and more about helping those left behind take one step closer to letting go.
Well, guys, that was Paranormal Cops. I hope you did enjoy, regardless of the fact that there was nothing happening in this show at all. We've still got one more Halloween-themed video coming out this week, so stay peeled for that. I'm going to try and post it before Halloween. But if you guys did enjoy, don't forget to like down below, comment, subscribe if you're new here and you did enjoy. Don't forget to check out my merch in the store tab on the channel or at chrisjames.shop. With all that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.